Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
All now let's create our organization. Let's create our management organization hierarchy. Yesterday we looked at the XYZ. Yesterday we looked at the XYZ Motors organization and you created the structure XYZ Motors and then it had one subordinate called XYZ Motors Executive and then XY Motor Executive had two subordinates. One was Sys Motors Manufacturing. The other one was Sys Motor Sales. Why don't we try to create that structure in Workday? Let's start by creating the top level organization. Now, can anyone tell me what is the task to create a supervisory organization? Create SUPORG, create SUPORG. I was just checking if you guys saw the video or not. Thank you. The create supervisory organization create. Supervisory organization. That is the task that we will use to create a supervisory organization. We will put it in the search bar and what needs to happen. For me to be able to search this, there are two parameters, 2 points that I mentioned. If you put something in the search bar, it will come up, it will show the task. If two things are met, if you have the access to it, and then if the spellings are. If I write something this, you see it doesn't find anything because my spellings are wrong. Although my intent is correct, my spelling is wrong. It couldn't find and it will not be able to find the task if I don't have access to it. But we are logged in as Logan McNeil. After we sign into the tenant, after we sign into this environment, the first thing that we typically do is we check whether we are logged in as Logan McNeil or not. And if we are not logged in as Logan McNeil, then what needs to happen? What you need to do? Proxy login as Logan, you have to proxy. Let me show you one more time what I mean. If I just a second, let's say if I am logged in as someone else, maybe. When you log in, this is something that comes up as your welcome page. It can be anything but not Logan. If it is Logan, absolutely fine. How to check whether you are logged in as Logan or not? Just click on your profile at the top and it will tell you if you are Logan McNeil. In this case, we see it is not Logan McNeil. Then what do? We click on the search bar and say Start Proxy. Start Proxy. We are going to behavior. We are going to be Logan McNeil. We are going to do our tasks with her aid. Or else it will say act as. Whom are you going to act as? You will search for Logan McNeil. You can type in the full name or what I prefer is Elman McNeil. McNeil and press enter and you are able to search for Logan. Click. All now we are logged in as Logan McNeil. You see at the top left hand of your screen it says on behalf of Logan McNeil and you also see Logan's picture on the top of your screen. These are the two things we must check before we start doing our activities. If you need to be proxied as someone else, it will be mentioned in the assignment, For this assignment, you need to proxy as some other worker. All now let's create our supervisory organization. The task you all said is create supervisory organization. You see, I'm not typing the full words. I'm only typing part of it and that is enough. It is giving me the necessary task. You see, I typed create suborg and it found the task for May, create supervisory organization. Let me click on that. And immediately it asks me for a reorganization. What is the reorganization? It's an event that we will. It's an event that we will use to track and audit all the organization related changes that we are going to make whenever we are making changes to the structure. I'm creating a supervisory organization. It means that what I'm creating, a new management hierarchy, definitely something that needs to be tracked and audited. My Workday will ask me, why are you doing it? What is the reorganization event? We created one we work. I will search for that. If I do not have one available, then I can click on this reorganization field and I can create one. As I showed you, we can create one. We can click on this create reorganization. But we have created one already, we will use it. You see the moment I am creating the organization, you see it has come up with an availability date. The availability date has come from the reorganization date. You see the today's date is different, but when I'm creating the organization with this reorganization, as we work, it has picked up the availability date from the reorganization date. That's why. The reorganization date, effective date is very important because that is the date from which we are going to effective date our of objects. Now can we change it to something else? Yes, of course we can do that. We can do that. But then that defeats the purpose of having a reorganization effective date. We will continue. And to follow the reorganization effective date now, the first thing it will ask is, what is the name? What is the name of the What is the name of the supervisory organization for all? And the tasks that I'm going to do as part of this training, I'm going to use the prefix U. WU stands for we work. I'm going to use this prefix that you are able to recognize the task, the objects that were created as part of this training. But in the real world, you do not need to give any prefix if you will just start straight away. Go ahead and give the name of the objects as has been specified XYZ Motors. Should be specified as XYZ Motors and not W underscore XYZ Motors. Get the point when you create your objects. I would want you to use your prefix for each of the objects. Say if your name is Divya, use D, and if your surname is, say, Mara, use MDM. I see there are two people with DM. Maybe you use DM1. One of you can use DM1. The other person can use DM2. Just to distinguish your objects, your configuration from that of your colleagues. All we will the first organization that we are creating is YUBU underscore XYZ Motors, and you have an option here to include the organization ID as part of the name. Now, when you create an organization, Workday automatically generates the organization ID that is the reference ID and that is unique. We will not include it as part of the name. It just makes it too long. Now, then there is an option to include the code. Now, in legacy systems, in order kind of systems, especially in the mainframe era, there was some restriction in the length of the name, in the length of the fields. What they used to do was they used to have numbers to denote. some objects that has carried on for years, and even in modern systems they want to. Retain that old department number or department code. If you have that department code already, if the business has given you a department code already, or if they want you to use a new code, let's say 100, 101, if that is the code that you have to use it. Remember, we are our consultants. We are not going to generate the code. We will just use the code that has been given and to us by the business. We will, if they have given us a code, use it. Do you want to include the code as part of the name? Do you want to show up? Do you want this to show up as part of the name? If it is yes, include code in the name. Click on this checkbox. Do you want to include the manager or the leader as part of the name? Sometimes it makes sense because it is easy for you to search for the organization. Let's say if I ask you find John's department, find the department that John is managing. If you include the manager as part of the name, it becomes easier for you to find it. Some enterprises prefer to have the manager's name as part of the name of the department that they manage. It makes it easy for them to navigate. You may include the manager or the leader as part of the manager and part of the name as now the subtype. The subtype is typically used in the reporting purposes and just to distinguish one supervisory organization from another. There are some provided subtypes: club, business unit, company, department, and on. Let's use it as a department. Somebody created some other ones, as we will just ignore that. We will use department as our subtype. Then comes visibility. Now who all are authorized to view this particular organization? Now let's look at the options. You see, whenever there is this dot and dash, dot dash dot, that three dot dashes, you see that for some of the fields you have this three dot dashes next to it. That means that there are some available options. That means that it is a drop down. If a field does not have any drop down, that means it is a text field. For the name, the name is a text field, the code is a text field, but the subtype, visibility, external or primary location, these are drop downs. That means you have to choose from some existing values. Visibility, let me click on the field and it will give me a list of sounds sorry. Visibility, we have four options for visibility. Number one is everyone. If I click on everyone, that means that all the users of this particular tenant will be able to view this organization now. Is it something that you want? If yes, then of course use everyone. When you have nothing to hide, let's say that people say my life is an open book. I have nothing to hide. If that is the case, if you do not have to hide this organization, of course, make it visible to everyone. But sometimes what happens, organizations or enterprises, they do not want to disclose about this organization before a certain date, maybe because it is confidential, maybe because they don't want to make it public. They want only to let everybody know on a certain date and time. Before that, while they are creating it, they might want to use a more restrictive approach. Role assignees. Role assignees means anybody who has been assigned a role in this organization, only they would be able to view it. Let's say Only the manager of this organization is going to be able to see it. Only the HR partner, compensation partner, benefits partner. These are some of the roles that we will work with. If that is the role you have assigned to someone, only they will be able to view this supervisory organization, no one else. And then you have another options which says role assignees and members. Of course, role assignees, your compensation partner, manager, benefits partner, etc. They will be able to view, and people who are members of this organization. Only these two sets of people will be able to view this particular organization, no one else. And then you also have another option which has been recently introduced, that is a role assignees of current and superiors. The supervisory organization will form a superior subordinate hierarchy structure if you use the last option, role assignees of current and superiors, if there is a superior organization to this, and if people have been assigned some roles there, they would also be able to view this particular organization. This is only needed if I mean these options, other options, and everyone. They are only needed if you have to restrict the viewership of this particular organization. Based on whichever option you want, you can choose we will use everyone we want. Yes, apart from this, four options, why do we still have the search criteria? Mean are there more options? No, this is just a four option. If you're already aware, let's say you can type every and that's it. Let's say you are very familiar with it. You just type every and press enter. You see it automatically selects it. And then regarding the subtypes, what is the purpose of subtype? Purpose of subtype is basically to use for reporting and configuration purposes. I mean, they don't serve any other real purpose as such, just for recording. What type of organization is this? You can say it's a department. I mean, it's a supervisory organization, but it mimics a department, and these are not built in. I mean, we can create our own subtypes. The department is built in department, company, and business unit and division. They are built in, and group. These are built in. But you can create your own. A lot of people have created their own. I will show you how to create an organization. Subscribe. One last question. When you say built in, do the functionalities differ? Is department different from company, from division? And all it all depends what, for what reason you are creating the supervisory organization. I mean, what is it going to mimic in the real world if you are creating this as a law, as an entity for a department? Just select department because that will help you when you are running your reports. Thank you all. Now we will go to if this organization has their own URL, if they have their web page or something, you can put it in the external URL. Maybe it has a website in your company website. As part of that, it has its own page. You can create that external and you can give it a name. I mean, you can give it a name and you can give the actual URL. Let's say oaksiscom/landing/top.html. Whichever is the name, this is the organization landing page. Let's call it as OIDA. I'm sorry. U underscore, and here we have to specify tabs, something that this is how we do it. Whatever is a website, you can put it this and click all you see over work landing page. You have configured your external all. Now, what is the primary location of this particular organization? If you are creating the first organization, if you're creating the top level organization, then your primary location would be what the company headquarters typically, because that is the first location that has to be created, your company headquarters. Here I will use an existing one, that is Chicago. I will enter Chicago and I will search for it, and there's many Chicago's people have created. I will use this particular Chicago. That is going to be my primary location. Now I have to choose a staffing model. We will talk about staffing models next week, but today I'm just going to use job management. All job, I will just use job management as my staffing model, and you can define the roles if you already know who is going to be the manager, who is going to be the owner of this. You can define that straight away, all, but I will just leave it. There are many roles that people have created which were just not necessary anyway. We will just leave it as it is, and we will add one role. Let's say I will add a role for manager. I will add a role for manager. I'll search for it. Just let me check once if this is the manager. People have been practicing too much. It seems they have created a lot of unnecessary objects. Let me use the first one itself, this manager, and I am assigning this to Logan Menil. You see, I can search for this worker, and we search for the role first. To follow the role of manager, and then I am assigning it to Logan Menil. Click to save this. Assigned. Some roles that people have created. Just give me 1 second. Or let me do this. Let me just cancel this out and let me quickly create it one more time. I'll just cancel this out. I'll just copy the name and I will cancel this and I will start again. The task again, let's start it, is create supervisory organization. It's here. I can use it and it will prompt me for the reorganization. We will use work. I'll quickly choose the options. The name I already have. The code, I put it as 101. Include code in the name. Subtype I chose as department. Visibility was everyone primary. Location was Chicago, and then I had chosen job management, and in the assigned roles, I will assign a new role. Add a role. You will add. You click on this plus icon, the add row at the top. Search for manager. All manager, and I will assign it to, it says you see, assigned to. Assigned to is is Logo McNeil. Click on to save the organization again. What is the problem? There are many managers. I'm in a role as a manager. Is it the problem? No. As you see, people created some rules, and I mean this is something to do with security when we do security. We will talk about this. People have created some configurations which were not necessary or which weren't correctly done. That is the problem that we are seeing. Let me try to get why is it getting applicable to our supervisor organization because they have created these rules as for everybody. That's the reason they did not do a good job unnecessarily. They created this and anyway, what can we say? I will try to get rid of some of these, but too many of them, I think. It is not because of we have changed that location, primary location. It is not because of that. We are not. We are getting this error. Location, no. No, we have changed it in Chicago to New York. Did we know we are using Chicago? It doesn't have to do anything with the location, as of now at least. I got rid of some of the stupid rules and now it is our primary location is Chicago. This is how our organization looks. You see, this is the organization ID. By default, Workday has generated a supervisory organization reference ID. If you want to change that, you can. How to do it? You go to the related actions and you go to integration IDs and edit reference ID. Again, related actions of the supervisory organization integration IDs, edit reference ID. If you want to do that, you can. You see supervisory organization. I will keep it the same name as the name of the organization, which is underscore XYZ Motors. The same name as the name of the organization. Now what that allows us to do is, if we follow this naming convention, where we set the organization ID or the reference ID as the same name as the object, then if we follow this convention diligently, it allows us to prevent duplicates. Now I cannot create another organization with the reference ID as WO underscore XYZ Motors because the reference ID or this organization ID has to be unique. It's a good practice to follow, not mandatory, but good to follow. What is the type of organization that we created? Can we tell it by looking at this particular page? What is the type of the organization? It is visible here and we are looking at this object as of 9th of March. As of today, we are looking at this organization as of today. Now, what does that mean? Now, view as of does this indicate that we can look at this organization of it as of a different state, maybe in the past or maybe in the future, not from today. From today, no, no. From today, yes, because that's what we created. But can we look at this organization structure as of a future date? What do you think? We can. Yes, yes, we can. We would be able to view this organization as of a future date. Now what? What is the function? What is the advantage of doing that? Or what is the plus point of being able? Look into the future. It is because we are opening a new thing in future. Date for that. We are doing it advanced. Let's say you are hiring a few people. You are going to hire 5, 6 workers as part of this organization. You and all of them may not be hired on the same day. They will be, maybe the first worker is going to join us next week. The second person is going to join us next month and on. You want to look at this organization structure as of the 1st of June, by which you are expecting that all of these people will join. If you look at this organization as of the 1st of June 2022, then you will be able to see all the workers that you are planning to hire, or maybe you are already in the process of hiring. You can look at this as of a future effective date, as all that will typically allow you to look at future dated hires. Now maybe this is, let's say this is an old organization. It was created in 2010 or something, and then there were many people who came in who are part of this organization. Then they left, they were transferred, they were terminated, and on they retired. A lot of staffing activity may have happened over the years. If you want to look at this organization structure as of, let's say, the 1st of January 2021, then you can also look at this particular structure as of a past effective date. Now, this organization we just created, this doesn't have a lot of history. But if you want to look at an organization as of a past effective date, you can definitely do it. But here we are not going to do it anyway. Now we have just created the organization. Let's look at the details tab. There are a lot of tabs. Let's quickly go over them. In the details tab, it gives the information that we just entered at the availability date. This was picked up from the reorganization date. We chose to use that. The type is supervisory. The subtype is department. That's what we chose. This is the code that we had given Hanzum 1. And we also said that include the code as part of the name. And you see that it is included. The code and Talan 1 is included as part of the name, isn't it? We did that. And then what else? We set the visibility to be everyone. That's what happened. And then we went to the staffing. We had chosen job management as our staffing model. That is what it is here. And in the rows we had assigned what manager? Manager, the role of manager. Let's search for it. You can search for the role of manager. Oh, didn't we assign? Did we get rid of it at the end? Oh no, there's just too many managers. That's what happens in a lot of the organizations, too many managers. It happened here as too many types of managers. Let's find our manager here. Let's filter it out. And we have assigned it to Logan McNeil. That's what has happened, and the organization. Assignments, we have not done anything far. It is all blank security groups. We have not done anything all blank. We have created our first organization. Yes, by in this roles column did. You redefine. Did you define the manager again? I mean, what did you do? Just missed it. I was just finding it. I clicked on this assignable role to filter it out. You see, I am searching for something. You see, there are 833 items. Now difficult for me to find the one I need. I just clicked on it and I searched for manager. But then we have already assigned a manager to our organization. Correct. I just wanted to show you I'm not assigning the role. I'm just showing that this is what has already been assigned. Will it not reflect it here? We still have to search for it. Is it? I just have to search for it because there are just too many of them. 833 roles which are showing up. A lot of it are empty. That's why I wanted to show you that we have assigned it to Logan. Got it. Got it you can also sort defending only the ones where you have assigned somebody those things. Will show up and then we can see. You see manager. The manager role has been assigned to Logan McNean. Now this is our first organization. Do we have any members here who are members? No members. We haven't hired anyone yet. We have just created the organization. We have not hired anyone yet. That's why it is showing up as 0. We will hire in due course of time, but now we are just creating the hierarchy structure. What was the subordinate organization of XYZ Motors in our assignment yesterday? If anyone remembers, they'll execute your sales, manufacturing, executive was the direct subordinate of XY Motors, and the sales and manufacturing was subordinates of executive. Now let's try to see if we can create a top-down hierarchy structure. Yesterday, you people were saying maybe a top-down hierarchical structure is easy to create. Let's try it out. We have already got our first supervisory organization. Now let's go to the related actions of this particular organization, and I will scroll down to something called as reorganization. You see related actions of this reorganization. And I have a few options. Number 1, assign superior, create subordinate. Divide and activate. We cannot delete an organization after we have created it. We cannot delete it. We can inactivate it. Please be careful. Do not just create organizations just for the sake of it. You create an organization only if you need it. If you do not want, if this organization is no longer needed, you can inactivate the organization. You can also divide an existing organization into two. You can split it up. Let's say you have a sales and marketing department as one, but now the organization has grown and you have a lot of people. It is becoming difficult to manage. What you can do is you can split it up into sales and let's say marketing, or maybe you had the IT, or maybe you had the recruiting department, the recruitment, and initially you had 3 people there, but now you have 25. Your organization has grown, your recruiting team has grown. As you want to assign a different manager, you want to split it up into 2 parts: recruiting for IT, recruiting for non-IT. Let's say in that case, you can divide an existing organization into more than one. Now, we will talk about a science superior a bit later, but let's create a subordinate. Let's create a subordinate. Let's see this particular option. How did I get here again? Let me show it to you one more time. Related actions of the organization. Reorganization, create subordinate. It says what is the effective date of this subordinate. Let's use the same effective date as the 7th of March that we had created, that we had used for the other one. Click and it will ask, what is the name of the organization? We will say WBU because that is the prefix we are using for everybody. We will say XYZ Motors. Executive. And we will say the organization code is R12, and I will include the organization code as part of the name, and I will choose the subtype as department. Now, don't you think that the options are much less than what we saw in the previous time? Yes, you see, in when we were creating our XYZ Motors, it had a red asterisk next to the primary location. It was a red aspect here, but here it is not. It is not asking for the staffing, model, job management, position management. It is not asking for the roles. It is not asking for all those things. Visibility, not visibility. Correct, is it? Why is it not asking for all those things? Maybe it in here is it is a subordinate and it is gonna inherit from the parent, which is the supervisory organization we created earlier. Perfect. Yes, because it is inheriting from the superior. It is getting all those things from the superior. Absolutely correct. You see the primary location. It gives me the option to specify that. But if I do not specify anything, then what happens? It automatically takes it to Chicago. Correct? It takes it from the superior organization. Let's try it out. And the roles, you see the roles also. It is not asking me to assign the role of a manager because it knows that it will get it from the superior organization. Now, do you want that? Maybe yes, maybe no. If you want to change the roles, you can do it at this particular organization level, but as of now, it is inheriting all those values from the superior organization. I will click on submit. I'll just click on submit. It says you have submitted. It takes me back to my XYZ. Motors organization. And now let me show you an interesting thing. You are already seeing something. Here you see the subordinate is XYZ Motors Executive and the ID, the code is similar too. If we will also be able to see it in the details tab. Here again, here also you will be able to see the subordinate in two places. This is the first place. This is the second place in the first place. In the number one, in this particular position, it shows only top 5 subordinate. Top 5 meaning as per the alphabetic. I mean alphabetically only 5 in this particular place. In number 1, it shows only the top 5. If you want to see all the subordinates, you have to come in the place number 2 in the details tab. If there are more than 5 subordinates and you want to see all of them, you can come and look at this particular place, the second place. Now let's go to this subordinate and let's see for ourselves what happened. Let's go here. I'm clicking on this XYZ Motors Executive. Now we are in that particular page. The type is supervisory, the superior organization. We know is Axis Motors. Let's look at the details. Oh, you see, primary location is Chicago. And location has been inherited from the superior. Correct, visibility is everyone. We didn't specify, but it got it from the superior, isn't it? Staffing model. Is job management. We didn't specify it either, but it again got it inherited from the superior organization. And if I go and look at the roles, you'll see a subtle difference here. Let me just show you the role of manager. You see the role of manager is Logan Minneal, but is it saying assigned? It says inherited. It says inherited. Inherited from what or from where? From the parent, which is the superior organization. Absolutely correct it is. It has inherited that from the superior organization. Now, can I change it? Can I assign this to somebody else? Yes, we should be able to. We should be able to do that. Let's try that. Let's go to the details section. First of all, let's try to change the primary location. We don't want it to be Chicago. Let's say we want it to be something else. We go to the related actions. Everything that you do, you have to take the related actions of the object. We are doing it for executive. I will go to the object related actions and then supervise the organization. The first option, and I can edit the primary location. I can edit the primary location. It will ask me you want to do it, but from what effective date? From what effective date? If you do not remember when this organization was created, it was created on the 7th of March. I mean with an effective date of 7th of March. But if you do not want to, or if you do not remember that, or maybe if you want to do it from the beginning of time, you use something this year in 1900. That denotes in Workday, that denotes the beginning of time. 01/1/1900 if you do not know any time, or maybe you want to backdate it till the beginning of time. This is the date. You will use 1st of January 1900. Let me use that and click it says now what? Is the primary location now? Let's find out. Let's say London or maybe New York. Let's use New York. There will be many New Yorks. Let me choose the New York. Not sure if this is the one. Very difficult anyway. How do we get to know which is the one? How do? I have my way. You see, it says primary. Location for organizations. Many people are using it. 31 organizations are using it. That's why I went with this. Typically, when you create locations, we will create locations. Tomorrow, when we create locations, we have to make it a bit more meaningful rather than putting it New York and on. And when I just had a question, go ahead. Whenever we create a location, every time there will be a related action stuff. Beside it, generally for every object in Workday, you have a related action. Related action over there. Yes, for every object you have a related action. Oh, now we are. Our Insys Motors executive. Let's look at the details now. You see, the primary location is New York and that comment is gone. Location is inherited from the superior. That comment is also gone because we have broken the chain. We have not. We are no longer inheriting from the superior organization. One more question here. Example, just we have changed the primary location and previously, which was the primary location. Can we find that? The history of changing, how many times we have changed. Yes, you can go to the related actions again, and then there is this audit. This audit, you can view the audit trail. All you can view the audit trail and you can see from what date range you are going to view the audit range. Let's say I want to view it from 0/30/22 to 0/3/9/22 for this last 1 week. I want to view it. It will give you the audit rate, but we made the change with an effective date of 1st of January 1900. That means the beginning of time. That makes it a bit difficult to view, but still you can view it. You can go to the audit. You can view audit trail and you give the date, let's say from beginning of time. 02/19/2000 and click it will. Give you all the changes that we made. You see here the first one. Organization has primary location, added New York. We have added the location of New York. Got all because prior to that it was inheriting from the superior. On that particular day we have added. Now we have created this subordinate. Let's quickly create another one because we need it. We need the other one, that is XYZ Motor Sales. Let's quickly create that. Let's go here and what is the option to go and create a subordinate? related actions, and then reorganization. We are the nation creates your subordinate. Thank you. You guys are excellent. The 0307, and then let's give it a name. It is OU. This is the one we are creating XYZ Motors. I have a doubt how important it is to specify the date. Effective date, available date, very important. I would say very important. Why? Because let's say you are creating this, or because that is the day this organization becomes effective as part of the training. It's you can use any date, but when this, because you see this is the system of record in the real system, in the production system. This is a system of record. People will come back and they will audit when was this department created. The auditors might want to know that unless you put in your dates properly, you will have a wrong information. Let's say you are creating it now, you are creating it today, and you by mistake, you choose the availability date is today's date, but you want to hire someone with an effective date of 1st of January 2011, would you be able to do that? No, because the organization was created today. How can you hire someone from 2011? May not be possible, but maybe this organization was supposed to be created with an effective date of 2000, but maybe we didn't pay attention. We just created it with today's effective date is very, very important. The availability date effective date is very important. Here also we will choose organization subtype as department. Visibility will automatically include the organization code as part of the name. We will do this and click on submit. All we have created our organization hierarchy. Now let me show you one very interesting thing we are at, which organization we are looking at, XYZ Motors Executive. Now if you see that it has a superior organization. It also has a subordinate, correct? This is as for the yes, as for the diagram that we have created. Yesterday, XYZ Motors Executive has a superior, which is XYZ Motors, and it also has a subordinate called XYZ Motors Manufacturing. Now for the people who are more visual in nature, they want to see the diagram, we can do that very easily. We go to the related actions, and we have this option called org chart and navigate. Hierarchy. For now, I will use navigate hierarchy org chart. I will show you. After we have hired our people, we are XYZ Motors example executive. There is a subordinate which is XYZ Motors Manufacturing, and if I scroll up, if I go up, you see there is an up arrow. If I click on that, it takes me to the superior, that is XYZ Motors. You are able to see the hierarchy structure now, 3XYZ Motors, and there's a subordinate called executive. If I drill down further into executive, it has one subordinate, that is XYZ Motors. Manufacturing got it all questions. Somebody had a question. No, all now let me do one more thing. I will again create a supervisory organization using the task that I know of, create supervisory organization, and this time it asks me all the questions. I will just want to do it one more time, and I will create an organization called XYZ Motor Sales. I'm creating this as a standalone organization. I will give the code as an arrow 4. Include code as part of the name. Just a second, what happened? Oh, the page got refreshed. Let me use that. It is bow underscore axis motor sales. Let me correct. The spelling code is 104. Include coding the name. Subtype is department. Visibility is everyone. And primary location, let's say as London. Oops. Extra or London, and staffing model is position management. Let me choose something different. And now we have create again the same problem to get rid of some of these roles. Too many unwanted roles. Just bear with me for a moment. Let me just remove some of these unnecessary rules. Which one is it? Any? Not sure why they have created it this. I wish I had this select all and delete option. There was a few at the top which had to be deleted. This one. Let me try to save it at least. I have a question here. When you click on the errors and you were checking that there was one error, it was showing you something with 1954. What does that number indicate? I have no idea. Literally, I just assumed that. Is it telling us that it is line number? That number, and I was just thinking, no, because you see, there are not many lines. That many lines got it. Thank you. I have absolutely no idea what people have done. You see row number 28, column number 4. That gives me some indication. Here it is. Let me get rid of this. That should fix it. Perfect. Krish, I had a question regarding position management and job management. How do we know which one we are supposed to select and when? Next, we will do staffing models next week. I just chose one randomly today. When I created the top level organization, I chose job management. For this one, I chose position management. We will talk about that in detail next week. When we were searching for manager is a built-in keyword. Is it in Workday? It is a role that is there. In Workday, it is already there. But I will show you how to create a role as we will create our own manager role. Just many people have created this. We will also learn about how to create a new role, all but that isn't security. Week 3. Now we have created this standalone organization called Sixes Motor Sales. But ideally, this should have been part of the hierarchy, isn't it? This should have been part of the Axis Motors hierarchy. Now, is there a way I can include it as part of the hierarchy? We have to mention this supervisory parent organization. The parent organization. And maybe, yes, maybe if we identify the parent, if we can assign a parent to this organization, it will be part of the hierarchy as of now. Does it have any superior or subordinate? You see, this area is empty. It doesn't have any superior or subordinate. What we can do is we can say, hey, don't worry, we can assign a superior to you. How to do that? Related actions. And then reorganization, assigned superior, assigned superior. Let's take that option. Which organization would be the superior of XIS Motors manufacturer? XIS Motor Sales, the executive. Correct. Let's search for executive. It says, what is the superior? Let's search for it. I think it was Krish, is this an example of bottom top? Correct. But you see that still the top has to exist. The top has to exist. Maybe you created them one after the other without creating a subordinate relationship. You create your individual supervisory organizations. And then, after you create all of them, then maybe you can place them as per the hierarchical structure. Then you can assign a superior. You can say superior. Assigned, superior organization assigned. So it says it has now completed the process. If I go to the XYZ Motors sales organization now, you would see that it has already assigned a superior organization. That is XZ Motors Executive. And the top level organization is XZ Motors. Now, if I want to look at the hierarchy of XYZ Motors, I will go to the related actions. You see, I want to see the hierarchy structure of XYZ Motors. I will go to the related actions of XYZ Motors supervisory organization. And then I would scroll down and navigate hierarchy. Let's see what we have here. Lawson YZ Motors, then in how to choose XZ Motors Executive. Previously, we had only one subordinator. Now let's see what has happened. I will click on the drill down. And we have two subordinates, XIS Motors Manufacturing, XIS Motors Sales. Correct. Our organization structure looks correct as per what we did yesterday. This is our organization structure. Here we did two things. First is we created the top level, the organization, and then we created subordinates. We created the first subordinate, that is Axis Motors Executive. Then from Axis Motors Executive, we created one more subordinate, that is Axis Motors Manufacturing, correct. And then we had three organizations in the structure. And then how did we do the Axis? Motor sales, we created that as a standalone, and then we included that as part of the hierarchy by assigning a superior. That's how we did. Now I just showed you two different ways of creating the organization structure. One is we create top-down, and another one I showed you was how to include an organization into an existing hierarchy. You can choose either of the approaches. You can use a mix of these approaches as perfectly fine, whichever is more convenient, whichever is more suitable for the task that you are doing. If there is an existing organization, you just want to create a subordinate, it go to related actions, reorganization. Create subordinate easy. You have to fill up less things because a lot of the parameters are inherited from the superior organization. Anyway, it's much more easier rather than creating a supervisory organization using the task now. What is the task? To create a supervisory organization? Create support will also work. Now remember, there is a space between sup and org. Do not just type it together because then it will not work. When you say create support Cs, that is fine, but remember there is a space between sup and org. It is two different words. All yes questions. I have one. I know we are going to learn this in future classes, but just to understand, for each organization that we just created or for each subordinate, we have given different primary locations, correct? Will that affect in any ways? No, it doesn't differ. Thank you. And also, you will see that when we hire workers, when we will go maybe mid of next week or maybe end of beginning of next week, we will start hiring some workers. Even when we hire workers, for each of the workers, we have to specify their own location. The location at which those workers are getting hired, this primary location will not play any role in the hiring of workers. This is just a placeholder. It's kind of a logical data which shows where is this particular department or organization located logical home of the organization. That's it. Typically, we use it as location of the manager typically, unless there is this physical presence. Or let's say the Workday department is in Gurgaon. If that is the case, then when we create the Workday department, we will select the location as Gurgaon because maybe most of our people are there. Maybe we can say that that's our location. I mean, in traditional offices, you have a location of that department and then you have the signage thing that sales department. Maybe at the entry you see a huge signboard saying that particular department. Remember college, when we went to colleges and outside departments, they had this big signers thing that in computer science department, history department, geography department, something that is the physical location of that particular department. That makes sense. But nowadays, with distributed offices and in global companies, it is difficult to envisage such as situation because we say I am in the Workday department and I am in Bangalore, and let's say you are in the same department but you are in New York. How does the location matter? But typically still we would still to have a logical home of the department. If you don't have a physical location, enter the location of the manager, but apart from that it doesn't play any other goal. Sure, appreciate it. Thank you. Extracting any reports, say for example in your how many employees are there kind of reports also doesn't work. You see, when you hire a worker, you specify the location for the worker. If you are creating your reports and if you are creating a report based on the location, you take it from the worker's location, not the supervisory organization's location. That's what I meant, because each worker will have their own location. And one more question. Now it's one said, in this COVID times, most of the people are working remotely. Now even new hirings happened with remote locations. Now a lot of organizations have started creating locations which say New York remote. It doesn't have any special address. It just says New York remote, and all the people who are tagged to New York but working remotely will be assigned that particular location. Let's say New York remote thinks this. Yes, go ahead with your question. Sorry. In a problem regarding the Go reorganization, only a student is watching videos. I felt I understood reorganization, but I got a confusion there again. Reorganization for tracking changes. In the videos I heard, you can create one more if required if your tracking changes. You have to do it for only one it if we create one more. How does it affect time? If you see a good question, you see, can anyone answer that? Based on your understanding of the yoga, can anyone on try to answer? Shruti's question, what happens if we create another supervisor? Oh, did I get the name wrong? I'm sorry. Who? The question one more time, I'm sorry. Yep, you have no problem. You should be. Should you ask the question? Can anyone try to answer Shruti's question? Based on your understanding of reorganization, what I understand reorganization is it's only one time. We just create it once to track the changes. I don't, it's just if I do that to multiple, if I create multiple organization, it may create some duplication data. Duplication for what? It won't duplicate. Now let's say you're creating a super. You're creating a reorganization. Did you see that it prompted for the effective date? Yes, it did. It did. Maybe as a rule of thumb, use this if you have certain changes which are going to be effective from, let's say, one particular date, you put them into one reorganization. If you are going to have changes with a different effective date, use another reorganization. I'm going to launch Apple iPhone 13. Let's say Apple iPhone 13 was already launched, but still, let's say I'm going to launch Apple iPhone 13 on 1st of September 2020. And I'm going to launch Apple iPhone 14 on 1st of September 2022. Different dates, and in that case we can have two different reorganizations. Yes, the team that will work on Apple iPhone 13, I will put them in one department. Apple iPhone 13 department, effective date of that department 1st of September 2021. The team that will work on the next one 1st of September 2022. Two reorganizations. Got it, two effective days, two reorganizations, but not for 2021. Two reorganizations, maybe no, you see iPhone 13 September 1st, 2021. That effective date you have. You are launching iPad or maybe Mac, a new Mac on 1st of November 2021. Create a separate effective date. Create a separate reorg if you are going to use a different effective date. It's better to use a different reorganization. Now, what is a reorganization? One more time, what is the reorganization? It's an event. It's an event to drive the changes to the organizational structure. Correct? That's the whole definition. It's an event, but we do it to track changes made to the organizational structure. If you are making your organizational structure changes with a particular effective date, yes, it is one reorg. If you are going to make more changes with a different effective date, create another reorg. Don't put everything into one reorg if they are of different effective dates. It doesn't make sense. Different effective date, different set of organizational structural changes. Definitely a new reorg. There is no limit to the number of reorgs you have to create. Use it judiciously. Do not just keep creating reorgs, but if it is for the same effective date, try to put them into one particular reorg. Now let's look at the reorg that we had created. We have been using it. Let's go to edit reorg. And let's look at our reorg orgo underscore. Sorry, we work. Let's look at seed and see what happened to this reorganization. You see, I created organizations with it. Whenever I created this Axis Motors, I had chosen this reorg. I create X's Motors sales. I chose this. Reorg, you see it is now showing up by organization. Yes, we have created to do your two organizations. Now I can track what all happened. As part of this, we work reorganization. I created this. Organizations and what is, who created it, when was it created, what is the effect. Date, what is the reorganization date? I have all that information. XYZ manufacturing and XYZ executive. Yes, because those were created as subordinates of XYZ Motors. We just use the reorganization tab, but we did not select our particular reorganization. That's the reason. It's a bit confusing, I know, but that's the way it is. For those things we did not select it. We did not select this particular reorganization. It did not appear here. It's only when we, in this case, this organization normally before. This joining Workday, we used to call it as departments normally. Now we can. Can we call it as department instead of organization? What is the department? A department is the, for example, the organization structure. What we do, organization structure. Will be. We make always the departments based on department, the job specification. Example, if someone is working on sales, that will be a separate department. Someone is working on marketing, that will be a separate department. Is executive level, that is a operate department. Likewise, we used to understand till today. That is how the experience which I had. But if the whenever we talk about departments, we call it as organization. Not necessarily are we. Is this what is the type of this organization? Everything is an organization. A company is an organization. A region is an organization. A matrix organization is an organization. What is the type of organization that we are talking here? What is the type of the organization that we discussed? Supervisory. Supervisory is a type of organization. What is the subtype we selected? Department. The reason we do not have a straightaway department is, let's say your sales department is now very big. It has 4 different managers. 4 different managers. How many departments you have? One sales department, it has just 4 managers. How would you create the reporting hierarchy structure in that particular organization? How many organizations would you need to create in Workday? How many supervisory organizations do you need to create if you have 4 managers? Supervisor organization should be one only. Then how would the members of those organizations report to their individual managers? 4 different subordinates. In that's how many subordinates. Subordinates will you create? How many subordinate organizations will you create? If there is 4 managers, we have to create 4, correct? There will be 4 subordinates now. What will you name those, or what will be the type of those organizations? It becomes challenging. It becomes challenging. We have to think about it now in large organizations. Very large organizations. Think about an organization with, say, 100,000 people. Department-wise, there may be, let's say, 50 departments if you group them based on the type of work that people are doing. If you do it based on the functionality, let's say sales department. A sales department will easily have, let's say, 500 people. At the support team, maybe it will have 2,000 people. If in the manufacturing, you will have 50,000 people. How will you organize them? How will you? There will be many, many different managers for those manufacturing team. Your department is manufacturing, but you have 50,000 people there with, let's say, 400 managers. Then how do you organize that? For that, you have to create supervisory organizations in Workday. And I said, supervisory organizations are similar to departments, but I did not say that they are equal to departments. We have a subtype of department. That is what? We are going to use it to mimic a real world department with a supervisory organization. But a supervisory organization is only the manager and subordinate relationship who reports to whom kind of structure. I have a question, Krish. Do we have a multiple departments under a word? Supervisor organization. Of course you can. One more part, it's not related to the current concept, but do we have a business unit again as a part of how Workday or structure? Yes, that will be a custom organization from delivered organizations. We will say, let's say, a factory. Let's say your organization is structured based on the factory, correct? It can be, or maybe the plant, or China plant, or Shenzhen plant, our Germany plant, our Mexico plant, our Vietnam plant, India plant, and on. Based on that, you have a different org structure. How to do that in Workday? Maybe factory is not a delivered product. A delivered org type, then we can create a custom, then we can create a custom organization type. But still, you have to create a supervisory organization structure because without that, you won't be able to hire your workers. Then you will relate or tag your workers to a particular factory. We are not there yet. We will slowly. We are covering these organizations. But the primary concept is of a supervisory organization. Organization is who reports to whom. In a lot of the companies, in a lot of the implementations that we have seen, what they do is they will just create an organization name as the name of the manager. They want to keep it simple. Name of the manager is the name of the organization. Let's say Render is a manager. They will create an organization called Surrender. All the people who are reporting to you will be hired in that particular organization. I just wanted to understand the hierarchy again. It's when business unit is again come under the supervisory organization. Business unit is a different organization type. It's a custom organization that we will create. A worker may be associated with multiple different organization types. That's what we saw. One worker may be assigned to different workers. Sorry, different organizations, company, and let's go to this slide. Workers are tied to multiple independent organization types, each with a different purpose. The purpose of a supervisory organization is what? What is? The purpose of a supervisory organization to maintain the hierarchy. Who reports to whom? Obviously, the subordinates here, and that's all. Who reports to whom? Now, you might say that our organization is structured on the basis of departments. Maybe our organization is structured based on factories. Our organization is structured based on, let's say, sales divisions. Different requirements. There are different requirements based on different types of entities, different types of enterprises. Yes, based on that, we have to find out which type works best. Shall we create a custom organization and then relate it to the workers? Yes, we will talk about that later. But now The first thing we have to get ready is the supervisory organization structure because we need to understand who reports to who. Got it, got it, got it. There are other organization types. We will explore them slowly. Christian, our doubt, we have mentioned Logan McNeil as manager for XYZ Motors. She is not member of any of this organization. We have not created an organization where she's a member. If we have to create, it would be a superior organization for the supervisor. Organization for what Logan is. Logan is not part of local. You see, we have not hired anyone yet. Just show you that we can still assign roles. I have assigned Logan as the manager, but typically Fox's mentors. Correct. Yes, and she's not a member of any of the organization. Yes, because we have not hired her at all. She was already there. Hire her then. It should be a superior organization to XYZ Motors. If she's an employee of XYZ Motors hierarchy, yes, if she's the CEO, if she's a CEO, then yes. But then we don't need to create one more level on top of this. We can hire her in XYZ Motors itself, isn't it? Because in the top level organization, the CEO is a member as the manager. Manager, we can do that. Can you talk about a date, availability date, one more time? Can you go over that again, please? Availability data of the supervisory organization or for any object for that matter. This is a HCM system. Is a software, if ultimately Workday is a software that mimics the things in the real world. This is just a system of record, correct? When you are actually creating that department in your real organization, the effective date of that change, let's say you become a manager, and I'm going to say that from the 1st of April, you are going to be a manager. You're going to handle a team of 10 people 1st of April. You are going to be the manager. If I am going to create an organization for you, what will be the effective date at 1st of April? 1st of April, that is the date that your organization is going to be created. I can create it now, but I will effective date it as 1st of April, and let's say I have 15 people reporting to me, 10 of them will start reporting to you, such a throw from the 1st of April. Correct then. What will happen? I will create the organization. I will call it as such a trust team or maybe such a effective date of 1st of April 2022, and then I will transfer my workers, people who are reporting to me. I will transfer them to you with an effective date of 1st of April before that. Today, if you look at the org chart, it will show as they are reporting to me. If I look at the org chart with an effective date of 2nd of April, we will see that they are reporting to you. If we do a view as of today, it will show reporting to Chris if we are seeing view, and if we are seeing view, such it was. Organization, as of today, it might not even exist because it has not been created with that effective date. But if I view it with an effective date of 2nd of April, it will show that there are 10 people who are reporting to. You got it? Got it. Thank you. That's why this effective date is very Important because whatever we do in Workday, we will do it with an effective date. Let's say the hiring. I'm hiring a new worker. The new worker is going to join us on the 1st of June after finishing all his commitments and serving notice period, etc., etc. But we have finished hiring. We're finished hiring that candidate. That candidate is going to join us on the 1st of June. In the record, in this particular workday, I will enter the date data of the worker. I will say the hiring date is 1st of June. But when am I making the entry? I'm making the entry today, the 9th of March. But I am making it with an effective date of 1st of June, but the worker will not be visible. Today, the worker will only be visible on or after 1st of June. That's why effective dating is important in one day. You have the option of effective dating in the past, effective dating as of current date, or effective dating in the future as most of the things. Some things cannot be done with the past effective date, but most of the things can be done with the past effective date, future effective date, or today's date as the effective date. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.